Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Jane's Fleet Command as we continue on with the reference materials. Today we will finally be getting into the USA materials, starting with the submarines. Los Angeles class SSN, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Attack Submarines SSN, country United States of America, title Los Angeles class SSN, for SSN numbers 688 through 750. Specifications: displacement 6,080 tons standard, 6,927 tons submerged, length 362 feet, beam 33 feet, draught 32.3 feet, speed 32 knots submerged, complement 133, of which 13 are officers. Main machinery: nuclear 1 pressurized water reactor 56G with 2 turbines, producing 35,000 horsepower, 26 megawatts, powering 1 shaft and 1 magnetic auxiliary prop motor, producing 325 horsepower, 242 kilowatts. Oh, there we go. Armament and electronics: missiles, sub-launch cruise missiles, vertical launch system in SSN 719 onwards, capable of carrying the Tomahawk, TLAM C or D, with a range to 485 nautical miles. Block 3 missiles being installed from 1994, increased TLAM C range to 650 nautical miles. Surface-to-surface missiles: Tomahawk anti-ship missile, or TASM, active radar anti-radiation homing to 250 nautical miles at Mach 0.7. Torpedoes: total of 26 weapons, can be tube launched, 4 21-inch 533mm tubes midships. Firing the Mark 48 wire-guided torpedo with active-passive homing to 27 nautical miles or 21 nautical miles at 40 knots or 55 knots, depth to 2,950 feet. ADCAP first carried in 1990, and ADCAP stands for Advanced Capability. Mines: can lay Mark 67 mobile and Mark 60 captor mines. Countermeasures: decoys, Mark 2 torpedo decoy, Moss-based Mark 48 torpedo with noisemaker. ESM BRD-7 for direction finding, WLR-1H in hull numbers 771 through 773, WLR-8V2 for intercept, and WLR-10 for radar warning. Radar, surface search, navigation, fire control, the BPS-15A16 operating in the INJ bands. Sonars: BQQ-5D/E, passive active search and attack, low frequency. BQR-2325 being replaced by the CV-2329 thin line array during overhauls, which is a passive towed array. The BQS-15 active close range, including ice detection, high frequency. SADS-TG active detection system being retrofitted. 34 are active. The Los Angeles, the Philadelphia, the Memphis, the Birmingham, the Indianapolis, the Bremerton, the Jacksonville, the Dallas, the La Jolla, Phoenix, Boston, Baltimore, City of Corpus Christi, which that actually was controversy. It was originally going to be called Corpus Christi, but because the literal translation of Corpus Christi is the body of Christ, I believe, I guess some religious people got upset about it, so they renamed it to City of Corpus Christi to make it clear that the submarine was being named for the city of Corpus Christi and not Jesus Christ. Anyways, the Albuquerque, the Portsmouth, the Minneapolis St. Paul, the Hyman G. Rickover, Augusta, San Francisco, Atlanta, Houston, Norfolk, Buffalo, Salt Lake City, Olympia, Honolulu, Providence, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Key West, Oklahoma City, Louisville, Helena, and Newport News. Here we can see a picture of one on the surface. And here is the 3D model. These are big boys, but they are quiet and fast big boys. Very big boys, and they only get bigger. Improved Los Angeles class SSN, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Attack Submarines SSN, country United States of America, title Improved Los Angeles class SSN, SSN 751 onward. Specifications: displacement 6,080 tons standard, 6,927 tons submerged, length 362 feet, beam 33 feet, draught 32.3 feet, speed 32 knots submerged, complement 133, of which 13 are officers. Main machinery: nuclear 1 pressurized water reactor 56G, 2 turbines producing 35,000 horsepower, 26 megawatts, powering 1 shaft, and 1 magnetic auxiliary prop motor producing 325 horsepower, 242 kilowatts. Armament and electronics, missiles, sub-launch cruise missile, vertical launch system, capable of carrying Tomahawk, TLAM C and D, range to 485 nautical miles. Block 3 missiles being installed from 1994 increased TLAM C range to 650 nautical miles. SSM, Tomahawk anti-ship missile with active radar and anti-radiation homing to 250 nautical miles at Mach 0.7. Torpedoes, total 26 weapons can be tube-launched, 4 21-inch 533mm tubes midships, firing the Mark 48 wire-guided torpedo with active passive homing to 27 nautical miles or 21 nautical miles at 40 knots or 55 knots, depth to 2,950 feet, ADCAP first carried in 1990. Mines can lay Mark 67 mobile and Mark 60 captor mines, countermeasures, decoys, Mark II torpedo decoy, and Moss-based Mark 48 torpedo with noisemaker. ESM, the BRD-7 direction finding, for direction finding, WLR-1H and hull numbers 771 through 773, WLR-8V2 for intercept, and WLR-10 for radar warning. Radars, surface search, navigation and fire control, BPS-15A16, operating in the I&J bands. Sonars, NMRS, near-term mine reconnaissance system with AQS-14 side scan sonar. BQQ-5D/E, passive active search and attack, low frequency. BQG-5D, wide aperture flank array. BQR-2325, being replaced by TB-2329 thin line array during overhauls. Passive towed array. BQS-15, active close range including ice detection, high frequency. Midas, mine and ice detection avoidance system, active high frequency. SAD-STG, active detection system being retrofitted. 23 are active: the San Juan, the Pasadena, the Albany, the Topeka, the Miami, the Scranton, Alexandria, Asheville, Jefferson City, Annapolis, Springfield, Columbus, Santa Fe, Boise, Montpelier, Charlotte, Hampton, Hartford, Toledo, Tuscan, Columbia, Greenville, and Cheyenne. Here we can see a picture of one on the surface. And whoops. There we go. Now we can see the 3D model. Alright, I'm wondering, I gotta check now because I forget the exact. Yeah, okay, so they did do that. I know with the way to tell these apart visually is the original Los Angeles class has the bow planes on the sail there, and the improved Los Angeles class has them on the hull down there. Alright, next up, Ohio SSBN, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, Section Submarines, Country United States of America, title Ohio Class SSBN. Specifications: displacement 16,600 tons surfaced, 18,750 tons submerged, length 560 feet, beam 42 feet, draught 36.4 feet, speed 24 knots submerged. Complement 155, of which 14 are officers in first 6, 15 in remainder. Main machinery: nuclear 1GE pressurized water reactor model S8G, powering 2 turbines producing 60,000 horsepower or 44.8 megawatts, powering 1 shaft. 1 magnetic auxiliary prop motor producing 325 horsepower or 242 kilowatts. Armament electronics, missiles, sub-launched ballistic missiles, 24 Lockheed Trident 1C4 in hull numbers 726 through 733, with stellar inertial guidance to 4,000 nautical miles. Thermonuclear warhead of up to 8 multiple independent re-entry vehicles of 100 kilotons. Circular error probability is 450 meters. Trident 1 is being phased out from 2000. Alternatively, it can carry 24 Lockheed Trident 2D5 in hull numbers 734 onwards. Stellar inertial guidance is 6,500 nautical miles. Thermonuclear warheads of up to 12 multiple independent re-entry vehicles of either Mark IV with the W76 warhead rated at 100 kilotons each, or the Mark V with the W88 warhead rated for 300 to 475 kilotons each. Circular error probability 90 meters. Torpedoes: 4 21-inch 533mm Mark 68 bow tubes, firing the Mark 48 wire-guided torpedo with active passive homing to 50 kilometers or 27 nautical miles, or 38 kilometers or 21 nautical miles at 40 or 55 knots. Countermeasures: decoys, 8 launchers for Emerson Electric Mark II torpedo decoy. ESM WLR-8V5 for intercept and WLR-10 for radar warning. Radars, surface search, navigation, and fire control. The BPS-15A operating in the INJ band. Sonars, BQQ-6 for passive search, BQS-13 spherical array for the BQQ-6. BQS-15 active passive for close contacts, BQR-15 with BQQ-9 signal processor, passive towed array, and BQR-19 active for navigation. 18 are active: the Ohio, the Michigan, Florida, Georgia, Henry M. Jackson, Alabama, Alaska, Nevada, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, Nebraska, Rhode Island, Maine, Wyoming, and Louisiana. Now, the game doesn't really mention it, but 4 of these submarines were converted over into basically SSGNs, or guided nuclear missile submarines. And they had their ballistic missile launchers replaced with adapters that could fire, I think it was like 7 Tomahawks from each ballistic missile bay, for a grand total of 144. So, that seems like it might be a... yeah. So, and one of those, at least one of those, was further modified to also be capable of conducting certain, like, undersea special operations along with the, or like support of special forces team. I think the Seawolf class was the undersea, like the seabed special operations one, now that I think about it. But yeah, they are, here we can see a picture of one surfaced. It's hard to really get a scale of these, but they are ginormous. There's the 3D model. And finally, we have the Seawolf class SSN, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Attack Submarines SSN, country United States of America. Title: Seawolf class SSN. Specifications: displacement 7,460 tons surface, 9,137 tons submerged. Length 353 feet, beam 42.3 feet, draught 35.8 feet, speed 35 knots submerged, complement 133, which 12 are officers. Main machinery: nuclear 1 GE pressurized water reactor model S6W, powering 2 turbines, producing 52,000 horsepower, 38.8 megawatts, powering 1 shaft. 1 pump jet propulsor, 1 Westinghouse secondary propulsion submerged motor. Armament electronics: missiles, sub-launch cruise missile, Tomahawk, TLAM C&D land attack missile with a range of up to 485 nautical miles. Block 3 missiles increase TLAM C range to 650 nautical miles. Nuclear warheads not normally carried. SSM Tomahawk anti-ship missile with inertial guidance and active radar anti-radiation homing to 250 nautical miles at Mach 0.7. Harpoon active radar homing to 70 nautical miles at Mach 0.9. Torpedoes: 8 26-inch tubes, capable of firing the Mark 48 ADCAP wire-guided torpedo with active passive homing to 27 nautical miles at 40 to 55 knots, and a depth of 2,950 feet. Total of 52 tube-launched missiles and torpedoes and UUVs in due course, and that's unmanned underwater vehicle. Mines up to 100 in lieu of torpedoes. Countermeasures: decoys, torpedo decoys. ESM WLQ-4V1 for intercept. Radars, navigation, PPS-16 operating in the I-band. Sonars, BQQ-5D suite with bow spherical active passive array and wide aperture passive flank arrays. TB-16 and TB-23 BQS-24 active close range detection, high frequency. 2 are active: the Seawolf and the Connecticut. There ended up being 3 in this class. I forget the name of the third one. Here we can see a picture of one. That's just really bothering me now that I can't remember the name. Here we go. Was it the Jimmy Carter? Yeah, the Jimmy Carter is the third one, which is quite a different name. But this, and that's the one that was modified for like the seabed warfare stuff. And here we have the 3D model. And that will conclude the first portion of the American section. Next time we'll get into the American aircraft carriers. But until then, thank you all for watching and stay tuned for next time and stay safe out there. And we'll see you then.